Good morning and welcome to Advocates for Angels Facebook Live. I'm Valerie Abrahamian, the IEP navigator, and I help parents get the IEP their child needs to thrive, both in school and in life after high school. Today's topic is Defend Our Kids' Right to FAPE, a free and appropriate public education. The coronavirus pandemic is wrecking our education system and all our kids' futures are at risk. I'm so excited today to share with you parents some actual legal grounds that you can use to hold your school district obligated to provide your child with in-person services and for you to win compensatory services and education, because back in March, April, May, and June, most school districts across the nation failed to provide an education to our kids on IEPs, failed to implement the IEP, the services, work on goals, work on accommodations, and basically violated the Individuals with Education Act, the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act. So I have some amazing breaking news. We just had a win. Case number 20200500465 is now case law, which is a win for the parents, in which the judge ruled that the school district must provide that parent with compensatory education because that school district did not implement the IEP back in March, April, May, and June, along with three other legal examples I'm going to be sharing with you this morning. One is an executive order. The other one is OAH granted a motion. And the other one is the case that I just read to you. And the fourth one is the SB 98, which talks about in-person instruction. So that's what I'm going to be going over right now. So parents, this is so key and so huge. Please listen to this and write this down. I also added links to the to this post. Excuse me. And so you can go to those links, and that's the executive order, and that is the win for the case law. So, and the state put order for the motion, OAH motion. So you've got it right there. You have the information now. You can use this when you have an IEP meeting and hold your school district accountable to providing your child in-person services and to make sure that you can win compensatory education. So first, let's start with the executive order N-33-20. So this was back in March. The executive order was implemented in the CDE, the California Department of Education, clarified that our kids' IEP workers, meaning the service providers and the educators, they are essential workers, you guys. Our IEP team are essential workers. Therefore, they can provide in-person instruction. This goes also for private providers. So if you have a non-public agency provider providing speech and language or occupational therapy or wherever it might be, physical therapy, they are essential workers. So I've had districts all over California, as well as other states I'm hearing, telling the parents that, oh, no, you can't use your non-public agency to see your child in person, or you can't have an IEE assessment, an independent educational evaluation done in person because we're still shut down and we're in social distancing and that's not allowed, which is completely incorrect information, misinformation. They're misleading you. That's not true. Our IEP team are essential workers, parents. So let me just read it to you. The CDE clarified that service providers, including nurses and assistants, physical and occupational therapists, social workers, psychologists, optometrists, and speech pathologists and providers serving individuals with disabilities, including developmental disabilities, are essential workers. Therefore, districts are not precluded from providing in-person services and supports in accessing alternative options for learning if remote schooling is not working. Parents, right there. Okay, so we've been lied to all this time. You don't have to listen when they tell you, oh no, the Department of Health has told us that we have to be off of the watch lists for 15 days until we can have in-person learning for our kids on IEPs. That is not true. We can have in-person learning now, and we could have had it all the way back at when schools shut down as soon as this executive order was put into place, parents. So I hope you're hearing me when I say that. Now, let me tell you something about executive orders. And executive orders have the force of law, much like regulations issued by federal agencies. So they are codified under Title III of the Code of Federal Regulations, which is the formal collection of all the rules and regulations issued by the executive branch and other federal agencies. So that tells me it's a federal executive order, okay? Even though I think it was from California, I think this executive order came from our governor, but you know, you guys need to find out, okay? If that's true, what's your executive order in your? But this is telling me it's a federal force of law. So parents, you know, nevertheless, I'm going to go on and talk about some other things, which also gives you, if you're not in California, the fact that our kids our service providers are essential workers, okay, parents, even if you're not in California. So. Now, I also want to tell you that my good friend and colleague, Mark Levine, retired special education judge, I just wanted to confirm with him that this is absolutely true, because I don't ever want to give my parents misinformation, and I want all my guidance and advice to be absolutely correct. So, and he told me absolutely that is correct, Valerie, and this is what he said. He said, the districts already knew this, Valerie, way back in March. He said, this is a reaffirmation of what the Fed and state governments have been saying since schools closed in March. But just like the rest of IDEA, many districts will probably continue to ignore it and misinform parents. Boom. Okay, parents, hear me when I tell you this. Don't let them continue to tell you you can't have your services in person for your child, and continue to have our kids not receive an education, continue to regress, continue to lose skills, have moms be the one-on-one aide sitting next to their child every day, trying to get their child to access curriculum online, and to be the speech pathologist, the occupational therapist, the behavioralist, and everything else, because our kids need in-person services, okay? Number 2, the Office of Administrative Hearings grants motion to stay put and orders in-person services during school closure, and this happened on August 28th, 2020, so just about a week ago. Okay, the link is in this live, okay? Now let me read you this OAH motion. So the decision was, if an individualized determination is made that a student needs services or supports in person to maintain their mental, physical health, and safety for the purpose of supporting the student in accessing the alternative options for learning being offered for distance learning, a local educational agency is not necessarily precluded from providing that service by Governor Newsom's stay-at-home order, okay? In granting students' motion for the stay put, OAH concluded that the guidelines issued by the California Department of Education under EON-26-20, that's the executive order, did not preclude districts from providing in-person educational services, and the local public agency authority in which the district is located took the position that they are allowing in-person educational services for any activities that cannot be done remotely and are required for students to be able to obtain their education. So they're even saying that the health authority didn't even say that they were precluding districts from providing in-person services for children with disabilities to receive their IEP services. Even the health department said that, okay? So OAH also noted that the district failed to provide any legal authority to support a finding that the COVID-19 pandemic creates an exception to the stay put requirement. So that means, parents, that when they give you a distance learning plan, IEP, that says, we can't give you your services now. We're only going to give you 15 minutes of speech, even though before you had an hour. We're going to change this, we're going to change that, whatever it might be that they are telling you they're going to change in the distance learning plan from what your child had before. That's when you say, nope, no go, not agreeing to it. I dissent to that distance learning plan. And once you do that in writing, in a legal letter that I teach my parents how to write, which means that it's a dissent to the IEP, then stay put goes into effect. Stay put is when the last agreed upon signed IEP remains in effect. And that last agreed upon IEP are all your services, all your supports, all your goals, all your accommodations, everything that were before. They cannot change it to their distance learning plan where they decrease your IEP in any way, shape, or form, and they must implement it, and they must do it in person. This ruling this is case law now, and I just, read it to you. So that is huge, parents, huge, huge, huge. Okay, so the OAH, the Office of Administrative Hearings, ordered the district to provide in-person services to the student in the duration and intensity described in the IEP that included, and then they went on to say that what this girl's services were. It was a one-on-one LVN nurse. She had speech therapy for whatever duration and frequency it was, her physical therapy that she had, and her vision services in person. OAH ruled that the district ordered the district to provide in-person services to that student, okay? The order did provide that the district could use qualified staff from a non-public agency to provide the services, that the services could be provided in the student's home as well. Okay, so they could come to the student's home because they're also telling parents, oh, no, your one-on-one aide can't come to home. Your behavioral ABA one-on-one non-public agency aide can't come to the home. They can't do that. Right here, parents, yes, they can, okay? And that they were not required to provide the services on school sites or with the school staff. So what the OAH was saying was, fine, you don't have to go to the school site with your school staff, district school staff. Have a non-public agency do it then if your staff does not want to do it. That's what OAH said, okay? So what does this mean, parents? It means that OAH said that we anticipate that many due process filings, they will receive many due process filings in the coming days, weeks, and months. May also include similar motions for stay put seeking similar relief. So they said, here it comes down the pike. The door's open now. The gate's gonna flood, and parents are gonna be doing the same thing because every parent is experiencing this same thing. Except I shouldn't say every parent of the 7 million kids across the nation. Some kids are doing fine. A small percentage of kids are doing fine. The kids that are really great with computer strengths and technology, kids that have grade level abilities, which are a very small percentage of children on IEPs, all the rest of them are not doing fine. And the Office of Administrative Hearings also recommended that you review your existing distance learning plan and determine which students are having difficulty. Now, they're talking to the districts, okay? Sorry, they're not talking to you. So the OAH recommended that the districts review their existing distance learning plans and determine which students are having difficulty accessing distance learning. So they're telling the districts, hey, districts, you better stop this. Look at the kids that are struggling. Stop denying parents in-person services. Stop denying parents compensatory education when they regressed because you haven't served them for 6 months, and start doing the right thing. That's basically what they were saying. And for those students, consider whether the distance learning plan is comparable to the last agreed upon and implemented IEP. So they're telling them, number 3, stop decreasing the IEP with your distance learning plans, districts. So these are the 3 things districts are doing now, parents. They're decreasing kids' IEPs for the distance learning plan. They're refusing to provide in-person services, and they're refusing to give compensatory education. All now case law and has legal grounds for us to receive all of those things. Okay. So parents, do not sign your distance learning plan. Please do not sign it, because if you do, you're going to be waiving your rights to stay put and to request in-person services, because right on the distance learning plan, and I have it right here, it says that it's going to be provided remotely. So you're waiving your rights to ask for in-person services. You're waiving your rights to continue with your IEP that you had before, because they're decreasing it. Do not sign these distance learning plans, parents, or you're waiving your right. And you're allowing districts to dismantle your child's IEP and allowing districts to not serve your child while your child continues to regress and continues to lose services. Okay, so number 3, case number 202-0050465. This is the Comp Ed ruling where a parent won the hearing. The judge ruled in the parent's favor to force the school district to give that parent compensatory education for back in March. So let me just tell you what the issue was. The issue for the hearing was, and this is in LAUSD, Los Angeles Unified School District, did LAUSD deny the student a FAPE from March 16, 2020 through the filing of the complaint, which was just recently, this was on August 24th, 2020, by changing students' educational program to a distance learning program that did not adequately implement the students' May 23rd, 2019 IEP. So that means that the May 23rd, 2019 IEP was the last IEP that was signed and agreed upon, but they didn't implement it since March. Now, how many millions of kids did this same exact thing happen to? The last IEP that was signed was not implemented since March. Millions of kids across the nation, parents. Okay, so what it said was applying. So this is the case law. Okay, this is another case law that happened in Hawaii that they won as well, and that was the Van Dyne versus Hawaii Department of Education. The distance learning program delivered to the student from March 16th, 2020 to May 18th, 2020 fell materially short of adequately implementing students' IEP by providing student the number of minutes of instruction required by the student's May 23rd, 2019 IEP and the type of instruction required for the student to make meaningful progress on their vocational, social skills, community skills, behavioral, and transition goals. So that means that that student, they didn't provide the minutes, they didn't provide the virtual instruction, and they didn't provide the services. Okay, so that was a Hawaii case that was also won by a parent. And so this is in Bridgeport, this case I'm speaking about that I just gave you that case number. the distance learning program from March 16th, 2020 to May 18th, 2020. The date complaint was filed, which was the date the complaint was filed, May 18th, 2020. Provided the student less than half the number of instructional minutes required by her May 23rd, 2019 IEP. And none of the in-person, hands-on services that were necessary for the student to make meaningful progress toward her goals. Okay? So right there, they're telling them that she didn't get what the IEP said, parents. The decision, LAUSD denied the student a FAPE from March 16th. This is the decision of the judge. Yep, LAUSD denied the student a FAPE from March 16th to the filing of this complaint by changing the student's educational program to a distance learning program that did not adequately implement students' operative May 23rd, 2019 IEP. The student prevailed. Okay? Woohoo! Okay, parents, are you hearing this? So now, number 4. The SB 98, parents. I've been talking about the SB 98 for 2-3 weeks now. If you don't know what that is, please go back and look at my videos, my other Facebook Lives and my Town Hall Lives that I give on Wednesday night. If you go to my YouTube channel, Valerie Abrahamian Advocates for Angels YouTube channel, you'll see all of them there, and you can learn about SB 98, which is a bill that requires a certain amount of minutes, live minutes a day for virtual schooling, as well as synchronous and asynchronous combination in those minutes. And I'm not going to get into that detail right now because I'm talking about in-person instruction now. So this is SB 98 states that school districts must offer in-person instruction. SB 98 defines in-person instruction as instruction under the immediate physical supervision and control of a certified employee of the local educational agency while engaged in educational activities required of the student. It's in SB 98 too, guys. In-person learning, in-person services, in-person, that means in-person assessment as well. So we don't have to do assessments virtually. Okay, parents? So this is huge. We've got all the legal grounds we need to demand that our school districts stop the misinformation and the basically lying to us that we aren't allowed and they cannot provide in-person learning, or that they are not obligated to make up for what they didn't do from March to date. So parents, I hope that you got a lot of value out of this, because I am so excited about this, because these are two brand new, the motion grants the motion to stay, and the new case law, that just happened in the last week or two. And those are huge to help us in moving forward in the virtual schooling model and to help our kids. Okay, so thanks, parents. And I want to just remind you, September 17th is the Advocacy Roundtable featuring Mark Levine, retired special education judge, and other amazing advocates from across the nation. I have Raven Woods from Virginia. I have Rita Loof. She's a school board member in Upland. I have Kit Savage, who's in Connecticut, an advocate as well. And it's going to be an amazing time. We're going to give you our best advice on how to move forward with distance learning and how to teach you your parent rights so that you can protect and defend your child's educational rights, and do not allow your local school district to dismantle your child's IEP while we're experiencing school closures in the distance learning schooling model. So thank you, parents, and I hope you and your family are well, and I will see you next Monday on my next Facebook Live. God bless and take care.